Hare Krishna, Yugal Kishora Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Dandat Pranam Shlokat.
Hare Krishna. So we are very happy today to have the association of our very dear Yugal Kishore Prabhuji joining us from Farmington Hills. So most of you in New York connected to the Brooklyn Temple might have seen him or know him personally. And today he'll be giving a lecture on when hearing is as good as seeing. So, Prabhuji, you can start your lecture while other participants keep joining in. If you wish, you may have a short kirtan. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutala Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamitanam. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvise Shunyadi Paschati Deshatarane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat krupat Muhammad Shrivanandana Taranam Paramananda Madhav Sri Chitrishwar. Hare Krishna. Hope everyone is doing well. Devaki Priya Prabhu Dandat Pranam. My humble obeisances. Giselle, Hare Krishna. Hope you're
Hare
doing
Krishna.
well. How are you?
Hare Krishna. Good to see you. Hari Bol. Dandavat pranams to you.
Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
You're doing well? And I can see Athena and Kathleen. Namaste. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
You're doing well?
I'm okay with all by Krishna's mercy, thankfully. Thank you. And yourself?
Fine. Hare Krishna, Anumataji. And I hope you're doing well. Anumataji, Hare Krishna. And I can Constantina. Hare Krishna. So
Hare
everyone,
Krishna.
my humble obeisances, hope you're doing well. And I was asked to speak.
Krishna's mercy.
So when hearing is as good as seeing, this is the topic Prabhu gave me, and I heard actually Corona is becoming better, and the situation is becoming better and better in New York. Hope you're all safe and you're maintaining your health well. And I pray that Krishna protect you and your families. So today, see, what is that? When hearing is as good as seeing, because we put, Mithuna Prabhu felt people have a lot of faith in seeing, So usually we gain information in three ways. We gain information in three ways. 1, 2, 3. What are the three ways? By direct sense perception. You say, gulab jamun is sweet. You say, I don't know. Somebody will give you gulab jamun and you'll eat it. And how is it? Give me one more, then I'll tell you how sweet it is. So we conclude things by direct perception, direct sense perception. And second thing, we do little research, inference. We do the research and conclude. Third one, hearing from the authority, right source, Shabda. Sanskrit words, anyway, Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. But direct sense perception, doing research and concluding things. And third one is hearing from right source, which one is actually, we acquire the knowledge. These are the three ways. Do you know any other way other than these three? If you want to know something, if you want to gain information about something, what will you do? Anybody?
Read.
Yes. Fine. Wonderful. Anybody?
Itihas.
What is that?
Itihas.
Itihas, scriptures, reading only. And
Guru Shiksha.
yes, learn from teachers. Fantastic. Very nice.
And internet, Google these days.
that is the first thing expected. Google. Just give Google, it will come. That is another, that's right. Another way of another way of acquiring knowledge. Yes, Kathleen, please.
Like with chanting, meditating, prayer answers, like the universe knowledge can come to you sometimes.
That's true. By prayer, by chanting, you get the knowledge. That's true. From within, you get the knowledge from vital nature, from within, from Paramatma, super soul. Very nice. Thank you. So today we will see these three things. Yes, we put a lot of information on seeing, right? So 6 blind people, they went to a zoo, and they saw the elephant, and one blind man touched on the tusk and said, this animal is very sharp. Another person, he touched on the trunk, and this animal is like a snake. And one person, he touched the ears, and he felt, wow, this is, the fourth one who touched, it's like a wall, he felt. One person, he touched the legs, and he said, this is like a pillar. One person, he held the tail. He said, this is like a snake. The one who held the trunk, he said, this is like a hose pipe. The person who held the tusks, he said, this is like sharp edge, like a razor edge. The person who held the ears, he also felt, oh, this is something like a big carpet. Which one is right? They're all right partially. But a person who could see, a wise man who could see, he said, this is elephant. Tusks are like sharp like edges, trunk is like a pipe, legs are like pillars, tail is like a snake, so belly is like a wall. So so yes, but sometimes we acquire knowledge, no doubt. But a person who can see it, a person who has vision, he concludes nicely. So, but my question to you, and these are different things, My question to you, is seeing believing all the time? Is this true? Is hearing believing all the time? Is this true? Okay, you see something, okay, you've seen Empire State Building. Oh, good. It's true. Or you call somebody and they tell you, you call your sister and say, so and so things happened, and you believe it. That's right, because your sister is reliable. So you see things and you believe it is right, and you hear things from very reliable sources, it is right. But are they true all the time? Not really. Why? We have 4 defects. We have 4 defects. So our senses are very imperfect. And because our senses are imperfect, we tend to become illusioned. And because of that, we commit mistakes. And we hide them. We want to hide the mistakes. We try to cheat. Hare Krishna. We try to cheat. These four things, four defects humans have. We have these four defects. What are the four defects? Imperfect senses.
Mhm.
We tend to become illusioned. We commit mistakes and cheating propensity. Because of this, what we see is not always right. Honestly speaking, what we hear is not always right too. You know, I have a video if you want to watch. You know, can you see the video?
Yes, Prabhu, Haribol, yes.
Thank you. So
Which
seeing
is
is
amazing, right? We wear everything in New York. And some people wear nothing. We just
please mute. Seeing is not believing all the time. So somebody is seeing, they're thinking this is, I'm sorry, somebody sent this video and so they're thinking like this, see, what do you think when you watch? So seeing is not believing. See, seeing as believing is not always right. So the problem with for example, if you see this train track, it appears to converge, right? But if you see carefully, they never converge. Train will meet with an accident if the train track converges. Similarly, if you put a pencil in a glass of water, it appears it is bent. Science calls it, a refraction. Basically, what? Your eyes are cheating you. And on a sunny day, we see water on the road when we drive. We call it mirage. But what is that? Our eyes are cheating us. Seeing is not always believing. If seeing is believing, you should conclude. And one more thing, if you see your face in a concave mirror or convex mirror, how do you appear? You right? Do you agree with these pictures?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yes.
So seeing is not believing all the time, And you see, do you think sun is a small, a 5-inch diameter disk? No, much bigger, much bigger than that, right? So we cannot acquire complete knowledge using our material senses like eyes, ears, etc. Our hearing is not always right. Our seeing is not always right. We put so much faith. Prabhupada speaks, sometimes people say, can you show me God? Prabhupada says, do you have eyes to see God? Hare Krishna. Should I continue? Interesting.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So these four defects that we have, even science, they always, the textbooks change, theories are modified, you know, you know, um, what is that? Why? Because the knowledge we gain through our senses is always imperfect. That's why, Dalton atomic theory, proved wrong. Then Rutherford atomic theory is also wrong. Then so likewise, they postulate. We put so much faith in our seeing. Honestly speaking, we can't see so many things. Our eyes have limitation. For example, I'm showing a picture here. It's in this environment. We have cosmic rays, we have X-rays, we have gamma rays, ultraviolet rays, we have infrared rays. We cannot see them. We have radio waves. So in this electromagnetic spectrum, can you see the tiny, only this we can see, these things, and these things we cannot see. Only visible light, little bit we can see. So how can we say we can see everything? Forget about Krishna, we cannot see many things in this world, right? Imperfect senses. And because of that, we tend to become illusioned. See, wonderful art, as though it's a bottle is coming out. Just it's a painting, that's it. And because we have a tendency to become illusioned, we make mistakes. And we make mistakes, we also have a cheating propensity. We want to cheat others. Hare Krishna. So now we'll see one by one. So first is imperfect senses. As I said, we can see only the visible light, little bit distortion only. So we cannot see the X-rays, which have lesser wavelengths. We cannot see infrared rays of longer wavelengths. We can see only with GR, that's it. So we cannot see so many things. Then how can we put so much faith on seeing actually? Actually in this room itself right now, so many rays are there, but we cannot see. Same thing with hearing also. Our hearing has a limitation. We can hear from 20 hertz to 20K, 20,000. Above that we can't hear. But if you have a dog, at 11 o'clock in the night, 12 o'clock, it starts barking. Wow, wow, wow. So the dog is seeing something, but we can't see. And it's barking. So dog's favorite frequency is 50,000 hertz, but we can never hear. Hare Krishna. So we can only hear this much, 20 to 20,000. But elephants, they can hear lower sounds. And cats and dogs, they can hear higher sounds. Bats and dolphins, even much further. Because of this, since scientists' senses have limitations, they try to use instruments to get more knowledge of the world. So the famous, this is Eugene Wigner, he said he's actually got Nobel Prize. Even if we have a camera we can take photographs of stars, eventually to analyze we need to use our eyes. We need to use our eyes. So my point is, even you take pictures, to analyze a picture, you depend on your eyes, which are imperfect. That is the reason why our science keeps on changing our theories and the different postulations. And because of our imperfect senses, we tend to become illusioned. If you eat orange after gulab jamun, it appears sweet. Orange after gulab jamun, it appears sour, right? But if you eat orange after lemon, it appears sweet. Hare Krishna. Same with the skin also. If you touch a warm water, so water touched with warm hand appears cool. Water touched with cold hand appears warm. Right? So we see different because we are in three modes. we see different things in different pictures. You know. So I am showing you a picture right now. Let us see what you will see. You know. What is it you are seeing, everybody?
It
A
looks
lady.
like, I'm sorry.
One by one. Okay, first one.
Two people.
Yeah, who are those?
What the one with she has a nose and brown bangs and like a white hat, a cloth over her head. But then if you look at it another way, it looks like her nose is the profile looking back, and that's her ear instead of an eye.
My question to you. Okay.
It's an old
thank you.
lady.
Huh?
I see as an old lady.
Okay. One.
This is Giselle. I see a smaller face where the nose is, the chin. It looks like the chin of a smaller face, and a young woman looking to her right. She's looking out at the right side.
Okay. Somebody seeing young lady, somebody see the old lady.
Right. There's a mix of both here.
So you're seeing a young girl or old lady. Amazing. So
But when you look at it from the front of it, then yes, she looks old lady. But when you look at the right side, then you see a very sharp face, small little face, and then there is a necklace on her, which is a old lady's lips, and that's a neck separation. So
okay, great. Thank you. And okay, what is this? How many of you are seeing the triangle?
I see triangle.
It is not there.
It's not there, but it's an illusion triangle.
Yeah. And what about this? What is that you're seeing?
A Mexican guy and an old guy, both.
A vase,
What is that?
a chalice or a vase.
Okay. So are you seeing young couple or old couple? Or both?
Old couple.
Old couple.
I see somebody playing a
Yes, that's the young
guitar
couple.
with a woman in the window.
So my point is seeing is not all. Okay, what about this? What is it you're seeing?
Sailboats.
I see a bridge with the sail.
Okay. So you're seeing a bridge or sailboat. So because of our imperfect senses, do you see this?
Illusion.
Illusion, exactly. And you look at this, they appear, they start moving actually. Look each circle, they start
Yes.
moving.
It's moving.
So which one is big, which one is smaller, which one is bigger? They're actually same height. So my point, if you look at the middle, then you'll see the circles moving. You focus on the dot. So my point is, seeing is believing. Is not true all the time. If you want, I can show you a video here. Very nice video of the optical illusion. You want to see the video, or should we go forward?
We can see the video.
Okay. Believe me, they are all the paintings of the road. That's it. There's no water, nothing. So they are all optical illusions. Because our senses are imperfect, we tend to become illusion. And for that reason, we do mistakes. Many people felt initially brain was thought of as an organ to cool the blood. You know, many initially they thought pituitary and the master glands, they were useless. Hare Krishna. You know, and Hubble constant, it is constant, but they changed it 3 times. Is it constant or variable? So because we use our senses, you know, small mistakes can lead to large disasters. What is that? You know, and there was a bubonic plague, and even the scientists thought the plague is coming from cats, and they killed all the cats. Then plague multiplied. Then they realized, and the plague is coming from rats, but there are no cats. The plague continued for so many years. So research also, because we tend to do mistakes, you know, our research also goes wrong many times. You know, this is Darwin, you know, he's the one who said man came from monkey, you know, but he could not explain why some monkeys are as monkeys and some monkeys became humans wearing jean pants and t-shirts, you know. So this is what he says. In North America, black bear was seen swimming for hours with wide open mouth. Eventually, the bear will become a whale, he said. But whale exists, black bear exists. So until this day, there is no proof. So that's why the research, you know, inference, you know, because we do mistakes, our senses are imperfect, our research also goes wrong. You know, man came from monkey. Till this day, it is not proved. You know, Ramayana time also, there were monkeys, there were humans. You know, and so seeing is not believing all the time. No, same thing. Hearing is not right all the time, but we have to hear from the right source. We have to see, you know. So real thing is, research may go wrong, you know, seeing may go wrong, but if we hear from right source, you know, we get the correct knowledge, you know. So again, I'm repeating, acquiring knowledge from senses, eyes, ears, nose, because they are imperfect, we may go wrong. The research may go wrong because we are using our eyes and nose. But if you hear from right authority, will never go. You know? So, what is right authority? Somebody said hearing from scriptures, Shastra. You know, can I have a video? You know, can you see? What do you see on the screen?
Mantra power.
Yeah, thank you. So we have to acquire the right knowledge, we need to hear from right authority. That is right. You know, earlier nobody knew anything, but right now slowly there is, you know, people are appreciating, you know, Vedas, scriptures, you know, the mantras. You know, see.
Such as the power of mantras. We all recognize the power of sound itself by its effects, which can be quite dramatic. Here, a high-pitched frequency shatters a drinking glass. So, we can easily understand that loud sounds can produce substantial reactions. It is commonly believed that mantras can carry hidden power, which can in turn produce profound effects. The ancient Vedic literatures are full of descriptions of weapons being called by mantra. For example, many weapons were invoked by mantra during the epic Kurukshetra war, wherein the Bhagavad Gita itself was spoken. The ancient deployment of Brahmastra weapons equivalent to modern-day nuclear weapons, are described throughout the Vedic literatures. Additionally, mantras carry hidden spiritual power which can produce significant benefits when chanted properly. Indeed, the Vedas themselves are sound vibrations in literary form and carry a profound message.
So, when we hear or when we hear from scriptures, in other words, when we read the scriptures or when we hear from authority, that knowledge is right. There we get the correct knowledge. So it's a simple thing. A child is there. Child was not there, father was there, mother was there. So for the child to know who the father is, very simple. He cannot take a DNA exam for everyone on the road. It's impossible. He cannot do the DNA exam to find who his father is. Simple thing. Go to the mother. Just go to the mother and ask who is the father. Mother will tell you who the father is. Likewise, when you want to acquire knowledge, when you want to know about God, scriptures, Shastra, scriptures, they give us knowledge. Scriptures, they give us the knowledge. Means you go to college, right, to learn. Likewise, when you want to acquire right knowledge, we should hear from the right source. So, but that source from should be bona fide. That source should be bona fide. Like for example, you go to a college, you go to a recognized college. Likewise, when you want to acquire knowledge, you should acquire knowledge from a very recognized, authorized succession, disciplic succession. So when you go to college, you hear from a right professor who is well trained, right? So a professor who is trained by his professor, you want to become a doctor, 4 years pre-med, then 4 years medical, then residency, 3 to 4 years, then 1 year fellowship, then you learn 1 year surgery from a doctor, from a surgeon, then you'll become a surgeon. So likewise, if you want to acquire spiritual knowledge, we need to go to a bona fide source. And it's gone for that reason. It's a very bona fide source, And we also have spiritual teachers who are very well trained. Means our teacher has heard from his guru, and he understood the conclusion, Then we have authorized books. Every college has library. Likewise, our disciplic succession also has books written by the previous gurus and teachers. So, for example, in our case, and especially if you want to acquire knowledge about God, Krishna, this knowledge was given. Prabhupada came to America and he said, I am not a simple guru. I'm a 32nd guru in the lineage of God himself. My lineage comes from God himself directly. From Krishna, Krishna spoke the Vedic knowledge to Brahma, and Brahma that gave that knowledge to Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave the knowledge to Madhvacharya. So in that succession, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada. So this knowledge, this knowledge came in that succession. I have one more video.
We haven't got to manufacture something. We simply repeat the words and the instruction given by the predecessor. Krishna instructed Brahma, Brahma instructed Narad, Narad instructed Vyasdev. Vyasdev instructed Madhyacharya, and in this way, then Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the 6 Goswamis, then the Srinivasa Acharya, Kaviraj Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and then we are doing the same thing. There is no difference. That is the specific procedure of the Krishna consciousness movement.
So, like, you call your sister, what happened? Your sister gives an update, and your sister is very reliable. You take information. Likewise, here we hear from very bona fide gurus, coming in the lineage of God Himself. That's why this information is reliable, and we can acquire right knowledge. So 5,000 years ago, Vyasadeva, he scripted for the first time. He knew in future people cannot remember 10-digit cell phone number. What he did, he scripted it for the first time. Not that he wrote, because knowledge was given to him by Krishna. Krishna gave the knowledge to Brahma. Brahma gave that knowledge to Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave that knowledge to Vyas. So Vedic knowledge is very vast, huge. And these were not, I said in the beginning, we have the 4 defects. But Vyasadeva, this knowledge did not, it was spoken by Krishna Himself, God Himself, who has know these 4 defects, who doesn't have these 4 defects. That's why our knowledge is foolproof. The world is changing. So many theories came. No one has disproved our scriptures. And in fact, today, world is appreciating more and more Vedic knowledge. Yoga has become global. Vastu Shastra has become global. Mantra meditation has become global. You agree? Why? Every time, somebody disproves another, somebody's theory, they get Nobel Prize. After 50, 20 years, another person disproves it, he gets Nobel Prize. Till these days, Vedic scriptures are not proved wrong. Why? Because they were spoken by God Himself, and that knowledge was transferred in the disciplic succession. So how fortunate we are that Srila Prabhupada has brought all these Vedic literatures in its pure form and gave it to us in English language. Right? So if you want, I'll tell one thing. What is that? Whatever is happening right now, even Corona was predicted. Corona advent was predicted. Corona would come in the northeastern part of the world, and it'll spread and many people will die. This was written. Hare Krishna. So anyway, what is that? Food will be sold. 5,000 years ago, when Vedavyas wrote, this was unheard of. Because when a guest comes to your home, please come. You'll give them food free of cost. No selling at all. You serve them food with great respect. But today, Vedavyas, he wrote, in Bhagavatam, food will be sold. Every 3rd shop in the world sells food items and makes so much money today. Water will be sold. Trust me, 30, 40 years ago, we never heard of water being sold. But today, water selling is a big industry.
Did you ever go for therapy?
Air will be sold.
Because your anxiety about the fires. Have you
Can
ever
you
been in
please,
a fire?
somebody know somebody's.
You seem like you're scared.
No, Constantina, please mute if you
You
don't
seem
mind.
so.
Yeah, thank you. So,
I am
food air will be sold. I heard places like Japan, even India. I heard they sell, the oxygen. They're selling oxygen. So you go and you fill the gas in the car, and you go and take few puffs. You put some coins and you get a fresh oxygen. You take, you pay little money and you breathe in. And I'm sure we have seen many people, some sick people carrying oxygen cylinders, for breathing. Hare Krishna. So air will be sold. This is written. Tatascha anudinam dharmam satyam saucham kshamadaya kalena varina rajan nankshati ayubalam smriti. As the Kali Yuga, this age progresses, truth is gone. Satyam, cleanliness is gone. Saucham, kshama, tolerance is gone. Daya, mercy is gone. Why Corona came? Because people don't know what to eat. Eating is not wrong, but we should know what to eat. And I heard somebody started eating bats and that and this and that. Problem. Knowledge is very important. When people start enjoying sense enjoyment with chimpanzees, it started. So if we start, if nature's laws are very, very strict, if you do not know how to handle them, then the problem comes. Kalena Varan Nankshati, as the age progresses, we lose strength, memory, and Nankshati Ayu Balam. The lifespan decreases. Actually, people would live 100 is supposed to live 100 years. Today, who is living 100 years? If you live 100 years, your photo will come in the paper. Correct. The memory is, the memory decreases. Earlier, people would say one time, people will remember. Now, 10-digit cell phone also we cannot remember. Memory is gone. So these are all written. If you learn to lie nicely, you can become a politician. The Vedic culture, in Bhagavatam predicted the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Then at the end of this age, Kalki Avatar will come and how he will end this world, how he will, exterminate all the unwanted people. It was written in first canto. So they're all happening. So these were written 5,000, first time Vedavyas wrote 5,000 years ago. So my point to you, when we hear from right source, when we hear from right source, that knowledge is correct. So let me summarize. So 6 blind men and wise men. So a person who can, like Prabhupada came from spiritual world. He said, chant 16, chant Hare Krishna mantra, and follow foreign principles. I'll take you back to Godhead. He has seen, but we hear from him. One person made difference, right? And what are the 3 ways of acquiring knowledge? Direct sense perception, inference, and hearing from authority. Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. But I said, acquiring knowledge directly, it is not always right because our senses are imperfect. What are the 4 defects we have? What are the 4 defects we have? Anybody? We have imperfect senses.
Imperfect senses.
Illusion, commit mistakes with others.
Commit mistakes and cheating. These are the 4 defects. That's why the knowledge we acquire is imperfect. But even scientific research is also, it's wrong because of these 4 defects. But Vedas, scriptures, when we acquire knowledge, when we hear from scriptures, Shastra, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, that knowledge is right. you know. So anyone has any questions, comments?
I want to thank you so much. I remember you did a class at the temple in late winter, maybe early spring. It fell into also in 2019 with all your visuals. And we were just in awe and so blessed to receive your knowledge sharing and explaining. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Actually, Aman, I remember this, you know, but he gave me, this is the topic he gave me, you know, that's why I felt, and then I have to use the same slides to, you know, share it. But thank you very much for remembering. And any other question or comment? Not on this, but anything else.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. I love all the videos and your slides. I had a question about the fact that because our knowledge comes from Krishna himself, that it is perfect. We know that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna had spoken this knowledge of the Gita to the sun god, and he thus passed it down to Manu and then Manu to his son. But that got lost. And that is why Krishna had to say the Gita again to Arjuna. So how do we know that this information will stay perfect when Krishna had passed it down before in a succession and it got lost or got corrupted? Thank you so much.
Nice question. Thank you. Actually, you said, how do we know? Can you, the last line, can you repeat? You know.
Oh, how do we know? So when Krishna spoke the Gita to the sun god, Vishwasvan, and then he passed it down also, and it's been passed down through the disciple succession. So similarly, this is how we are obtaining our knowledge. But when that happened previously, the knowledge got lost or it got corrupted, and that is why Krishna had to re-speak the Gita to Arjuna. Right. So how do we know that that won't happen again? How do we know that knowledge always stays perfect? Because we've already seen through history that it wasn't preserved, and that is why Krishna had to speak this knowledge again.
Nice question. Thank you. Actually, Krishna says eventually this knowledge also over a period of time, it will be lost. But we are very fortunate. We are part of a succession and that knowledge is preserved. You know, for example, there are so many engineering colleges, so many universities, but if you go to MIT or Harvard, you know, I'm just giving a material example, you know, so they are reliable universities, like for material education. Likewise, for example, Srila Prabhupada, you know, Prabhupada came to America and he brought this knowledge. It has brought so much of transformation in so many people, you know. So that is a proof, you know, the knowledge is transferred in proper succession. For example, the water, like in Niagara Fall. Now, Niagara Fall, we have what is that, electricity generating station. But from there to your home, there are poles, and these poles, the wire is, the wire is started from Niagara, and there are poles where this wire is, you know, brought, you know, these poles carry that wire, and finally the wire will come into your home. So you may have so many, what do you call, outlets, but which outlet will give you current, you don't know, right? But likewise, there are so many Bhagavad Gitas in the market. How do we know Bhagavad Gita as it is very bona fide version of Krishna? So that outlet, when you connect, you'll get the power source, you'll get energy. So when we hear from Bhagavad Gita as it is written by Srila Prabhupada, because he has come in the lineage directly from Krishna, even after this many years, because he presented it as it is, when anyone hears genuinely, like Arjun did to Krishna, you would see the transformation of the heart. You know, can you imagine Srila Prabhupada worked on hippies? He did not work on elite very intellectual class of America when he came, but still they were transformed in 2 months. You know, so when we go through, we feel like changing, and we change. When I heard first time, wow! I also came to America to make money, but I became a monk. There's a power of hearing. So there may be so many outlets, but the right outlet, when you connect, you get the power. It will bring transformation. Yes, it will not last for a long time. Prabhupada said it will be there only for 10,000 years, this moment. But we should utilize that opportunity before it is lost in the due course of time. Does it answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Just in summary, sounds like we know something is truth because of the results and the transformation. Just as a quick follow-up to, you had mentioned Srila Prabhupada had said, I guess when the golden age is done, the 10,000 years, it'll be lost. But I was just thinking, couldn't we once say that this truth is preserved because it's written down? Whereas I guess previously, because the memories were so great, it was just spoken. And then as memory deteriorated, there was nothing preserving it. But now, since it is written, perhaps hopefully it won't get lost, but I'm not sure what's going to happen at the end of 20,000 years if all these books will be burned, something like that. But couldn't we argue that because now it's written for those in Kali Yuga, we don't have as strong memories, it can be preserved till, I guess, Kalki? Could you address that? Thank you.
It could be. I agree with you. Because it is written, and honestly speaking, we have what is that? Bhaktivedanta Research Center, BRC, in India. So they are trying to preserve it. So I cannot speak what will happen after 10,000 years, but at least hopefully we can preserve them even beyond 10,000 years because of the technology. That's a nice point you made it. Hopefully we can take this forward. Yeah, you're right. And until the end of the Kali Yuga. So somebody will be there. Those interested souls will get the right knowledge. Sincere souls will get the right knowledge. I agree with you. Nice point.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful answers and your wonderful session. Haribol.
Thank you. Haribol, Hare Krishna. Anybody has anything else? Any other question or comment?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I have one comment, Prabhu. This you are saying that 10,000 years. So Prabhupada wrote it somewhere, or Mahaprabhu says that it will go?
Prabhupada mentioned it.
That only till 10,000 years.
Yeah, that's how long that much long this movement will last. So that is what is called this golden age of Lord Chaitanya, and that much long the movement will last. So we should, Prabhupada said, basically we should go back to Godhead. You see, material world is not a wonderful place for any gentleman or woman. So we should utilize human life. Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya gave this process of such a wonderful bhakti process. Chant the holy name, take prasad, follow four regular principles, cleanse your heart. You purify yourself. Human life is meant to cleanse human life is meant to cleanse the heart. You purify yourself, you'll go back to Godhead. Okay. Somebody raised the hand, Kathleen.
Yeah, I did. So because Satya Yuga will be followed after Kalki, after Kali Yuga we're in now, it's nothing's to waste. We're laying the groundwork for the next season, though it won't be in our lifetime in the bodies we are now if we continue, hopefully not in another body. But so what that's all I wanted to say.
I agree with you. Yes, So, our presence in this world is maybe in next 40, 50, 60 years, 70, maximum 100 years, So, the Prabhupada said, but we should utilize human life to cleanse our heart. And when the heart is cleansed of all the impurities, then the love of God is awakened, and when we go back to Godhead, that's where we came from, actually. I don't know, yours is you asked a question or comment?
I think it was kind of both.
What was the question about?
Well, I guess it's just the thought that I have about this, and then I guess asking if it's correct. Yes.
I mean, basically, what is that? Yes, our presence in this world is limited, temporary, maximum 100 years. I'm sure, if you're already 20, 30, 40 years, we have very little time left. We should utilize. Even Corona has claimed, how many? 500,000 people, 500,000 lives in America alone. So we should utilize human life, to cleanse our heart by following the bhakti process of chanting, honoring prasad and doing service, and that's what I can do. Any other question or comment? Otherwise, we'll end it.
Prabhu Haribol, this is Giselle.
Giselle.
Dandavat pranams to you. I'd like to, I guess, basically say that in this life, though Prabhupada said, utilize whatever time we have. We spent so much time either sleeping as babies and going through everything to get to this. We're very fortunate to be at this point. But whatever we accomplish, or up until whatever it's not lost. That's what I'm trying to say. Whatever we do in this bhakti yoga service, that it's not lost. And if we don't, I don't want to sound negative or anything, but if we leave our bodies before we pick up where we left off.
Yes. Neha vikramana shvaste pratyavayana vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhayat. The translation of this verse is, even whatever endeavor you make on the path of bhakti, it is an eternal credit. It will come with you. In fact, today you may have free time. You could have gone elsewhere, but you made a choice to come to attend the Bhagavad Gita class. It's a credit that will come with you. So, like for example, if you made probably 60% progress in this life, next lifetime you'll continue from 61%. In this lifetime you finished everything. You're so surrendered to the process, and you've adopted the process nicely. You're pleased with Guru and Krishna, and you'll go back to God in this lifetime. But for some reason, you could not do 100%. And you have done, you'll continue from there. Like you did in this lifetime, 50%, 60%, 70%. You'll continue from 71% next life.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
2 people raise their hand, please.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have a question connected to that. So Aji said that we don't know how much days, years, or months we have in our life. Whatever age we are, and let's say we have started from last 10 years or 5 years, but now we've been very serious from a year, 2 years, and we die or I die. How do I know the next life I will be sure taking a birth of as an animal or a human to continue from the 61% starting point?
Nice point. Thank you. Krishna says in Gita, because you have taken bhakti, the path of bhakti, Krishna, you first of all, human life is guaranteed. Next life you'll get a human life. Krishna says that. Suchinam Srimatange yoga brashto bijayate. So Arjuna asked this question. What will happen? You're asking me to invest time on bhakti. I'm a married man. I have very little time. If I invest time on bhakti, I cannot invest on my career. So if I invest little here, I don't succeed in career, I don't succeed in bhakti. What will happen? Then Krishna said, no, not like that. Whatever little progress you make, You'll continue from where you left off. Suchinam Shri Matange Yoga Vrishtabhyayate. You have done a great extent of bhakti in the previous life. You'll take birth in a devotee family. Day one, you'll start eating prasad. I've seen that. I'll tell you, you'll be amazed. When children are born, what words they say? Papa, Mama, like that, right? The children born in Hare Krishna movement, I heard many times. I saw Prabhupada. It's a Prabhupada, first words, Prabhupada. Wow. Jagannath. A child cannot say Jagannath actually. I've seen that. Believe me. And I've seen children dancing at the age of 1 year. Wow. That is a proof. Second thing, if you are not a great devotee in the past life, but you will take birth in a rich family. Srimatange. Prabhupada says this. In Gita it is written. And your life is not a struggle. And you're studying nicely, you're very wonderful, comfortable family. Suddenly one day you go to college, you hear kirtan and you're attracted. Not your friends, but you're attracted. And you'll come. You're pulled. You're listening?
Yes, yes.
So, believe me, every sincere endeavor on the path of devotion, bhakti, is rewarded. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
And somebody is asking a question, Prabhu, since our senses are imperfect, we may grasp the perfect knowledge also imperfectly. What is your opinion? I may hear and read, but due to conditioning, apply or understand incorrectly. Who asked this? Is it Suman Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Nice question, though. Thank you. Yes, we may have conditioning, even though the knowledge we are getting, we may understand. We may understand imperfectly. That is a question. But still, fire is a fire, Prabhu. Fire, when the knowledge is compared to fire, very pure. Whether you touch knowingly or unknowingly, it'll burn your hand. Even child touches, the finger will burn. Likewise, the knowledge we are getting, especially in our tradition, is very pure. If you're sincere, even if you have imperfect senses, if you take up the process over a period of time, eventually, Krishna, in this year in 10th chapter Gita, he'll illuminate your heart with the lamplight of knowledge. Krishna, if only thing, be sincere. We may be degraded, but be sincere. There were so many Sanskrit scholars from India. They couldn't become devotees. Prabhupada came to America. They were all drug addicts, but they were very sincere. They loved Prabhupada. They served Prabhupada. They got the knowledge. Guru's mercy. They pleased Prabhupada. Whoever was honest and sincere, though their conditioning was there, they made unlimited progress. Many people went back to Godhead. Qualification should be sincerely serving Guru and Krishna. He'll go back to Godhead. Even though we have impurities in our heart. You're understanding? One day, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, we are so fallen. We're drug addicts, we're gamblers, we have all illicit connections. How is it we are able to, how is it that we got this? What is our qualification? Prabhupada said, you have no qualification. I created your qualification. Even though it may not be there in your destiny also. But when a guru intervenes, guru's mercy intervenes, it will change your life. That's why we need to have the association of devotees. And we should be eager for that. We may have greed, anger, envy, lust in our heart, but we should be sincere. Our sincerity is expressed in eagerness to hear, eagerness to serve. then Krishna will give us right conclusions. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Anybody, anything else? Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
We had mentioned earlier about COVID and how we've lost over now it's 535,000 people. I just saw this morning due to COVID. And I don't recall where I read this, but by 2025 that there was going to be natural disasters. There would be diseases now and also natural disasters. Why 2025? How to be so specific stirred my curiosity to how does one prepare? How does one remain safe under Krishna's shelter? I mean, if they're not prepared, a natural disaster, tornado, tsunami, 100-mile-per-hour winds, hurricanes, these things, very concerning because it's going to kill a lot more people. That's how I see this. And it's very frightening. Is this something that is you're familiar with, or is this something that I may have misread? I'm sure it was 2025.
I mean, honestly speaking, I have not come across any information like that. But I'll tell you one thing. Krishna says in Gita, this place is temporary and place of calamity, place of misery. One will come after another. That's the nature of this world. So when Corona started, then California, the wildfires. One day, one gentleman called me and said, "This just 4 months ago. If you come to my place, this is like all the CEOs live, all Alto. My car, you see all this ash depositing on my car. You can write your name on that. The wildfires just happened 4 months ago." So natural calamities, Krishna says this, so we should always be ready. We should prepare ourselves. So out of 535,000 lives, we should be grateful that we are not one of them. We are not one of them. How do we prepare? Two things: constants, variables. What is that you control on? Do you control weather? No.
No, nothing. We control nothing.
Exactly.
Except the mercy. Except the love we have for Krishna and Radha.
Exactly.
That's about all.
You can control your body. You control your choices. These are the you can make choices. You cannot control the government policies. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the tornadoes. You cannot control what bacteria Mother Nature is going to release. You have no idea. And believe me, one sannyasi said, "This is long due. Mother Earth is suffering, because of what we are, human beings are doing. Past 15, 20 years, 1990, 30 years, scientists are warning even, So, okay, our habits, human habits, are today, they're so detrimental to their health, so detrimental to planet's health. Scientists are warning, but we are not listening. Then what is happening? What is the result? Can you imagine? I never thought a day like this will come. I'll be like this. And New York City, so many people died. Still, everyone is looking for a vaccine, but nobody is looking for a preventive. What should we do? Nobody. The vaccine came, everyone is thinking they're liberated, as though no other problem is going to come. You made a nice point, actually. My point to you, thank you for asking this question. I don't have control on the rest of the things, but what I have control on is my choices, my body. So Prabhupada said, what we do? You become that person. You preach the message of Gita. Prabhupada came. Believe me, he created a revolution. Because he came, we have today a process to follow, a process to hold on and remain cool by not becoming crazy. People have mental problems today, more than corona actually, So, but today we are still breathing, we still have good health, we have some immunity because of our good habits, and we are mentally sane. Why? So we get up in the morning, we clean our bodies, and we are cleaning our hearts. Today, hearts are filled with envy. If every heart is polluted, it will reflect in the environment. Rivers are polluted. Ecological problem is actually spiritual problem. If every heart is polluted, it will reflect in the world. Why Ganga is polluted, Yamuna is polluted, every river in America is polluted? Because our hearts are polluted. So what do? We take bath, we clean the body, then we chant the holy name to clean the heart. Do you know how happy Mother Nature is with you? And you follow four regulative principles. You protect dharma. Cleanliness, austerity, mercy, truthfulness. You're doing it. Out of 7.3 billion population, few handful people are doing it. So nature is very happy with you. You should know that. Krishna is happy with you. To the extent you're sincere and honest, you should know that. Continue. So, whatever little bit purification comes here and there. Krishna purifies us to get rid of our impurities, to prepare us back to Godhead. We should accept it very gracefully. Do you know I got corona? But I recovered it, and I recovered from it. So my point to you, but we did not give up chanting rounds. We continued everything with gratitude, So I accepted the purification. Haribol, So remain peaceful, no mental problem. So continue doing that. But one thing you should do, we all should do, give the message to others. Transform their hearts. Give them beads. Give them one book. Krishna will be here with you. Bhakti Chara Swami, before he left the world, he came to West Virginia. He made a very nice, sweet point. You know what he said? Sun is setting, and all the insects came. Who will illuminate the world? Sun is setting now. There was silence because sun is setting at any time. But the firefly said, I don't know whether I can illuminate the world or not. I'll illuminate my home. Firefly said. You're listening?
Yes.
So you illuminate your home. You, if possible, you tell this to your neighbor. So then everyone started illuminating their homes. That is how they surveyed the darkness until next sunrise. Calamity after calamity will come. That's the nature of this world. But we have our own weapons. Holy name, prasad, kirtan, association. What do you think?
I agree. I have limitations. I have limitations with the neighbors, but not other people. It's interesting how I'm surrounded by negative energy. And I brought this up in a class one time. Our enemies, and I didn't realize we had enemies, but people who want to hurt us and stop us is a fear of something. I mean, I don't want to get into something totally different now, but I look for those people who have open heart and who can talk about God or talk about Jesus and talk about anything other than hatred and jealousy and attacking, gossiping. This is a big problem for me. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I find it very disturbing. So I do share as much as I can, but
as much as you can. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, as much as I can. I'm very cautious not to put myself in a position where I really don't know if somebody is getting frightened. I think it's fear. In the end, when people are afraid of love and when they're afraid of spirituality, when they're afraid of God, I understand something happened, maybe a trauma, but as an example, I think is enough for my enemies. More than that, I have to really be careful.
Do what you can and don't do what you cannot. As simple as that,
Thank you.
I think we'll end it here if no one has anything.
Yes, I just wanted to say when we were talking about controlling, I have read and heard Prabhupada talk about the importance so much of controlling the tongue, meaning like try to have prasad and give glory, chant the holy names and to speak of Krishna and not be like that lady's neighbors, yeah. Hare Krishna.
I agree, definitely agree. Actually, let me tell you, what we can do, we should do, but we should be careful also. Yes, I agree. People are very scared. That many people are not receptive. So see what you can do, but also make sure you are safe. First thing, we should be safe. We should protect ourselves.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
If you are sincere, Krishna will help. So we should not go out of way. Be very careful. So thank you. Anything
Thank
else?
you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat will end it.
Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture and the consequent discussions. Thank you all of you for joining this Sunday Feast lecture, although virtually. So next week we have our very special festival of installation ceremony of Radha Govinda ji. So please stay tuned for the updates. And the week after that is Gaur Purnima. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Thank you. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thanks so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Glory to
Krishna.
Prabhupada.